I was ordered to take one of his eyeballs by the soldier on the other side. And the nurse handed me a hemostat. I really couldn't stand it. And I said, I can't do it. I can't.
The horror Zheng witnessed took place in 1994 inside a van guarded by armed soldiers, then staffed with 5 surgeons and nurses. He thought they were on a secret military mission near a prison around China's northeastern Dalian city. But what followed has stayed with him for decades.
I looked at him. He was looking right at me. This man at my feet during the operation, he was really looking at me. His eyes were moving.
Zheng says the man was no more than 18 years old, carried into the van by 4 soldiers, his limbs tightly bound by ropes. A doctor first sliced open the man's stomach, and 2 others extracted a kidney each. The man's legs twitched, his throat moved, but no sound came out. Then a doctor instructed Zheng to step on the man's legs and don't let him move.
As I pressed down, his still warm body made me think he was alive. A surgeon took a scalpel and made a large incision directly under the xiphoid into the umbilical cord. When the abdomen opened, the intestines came out. And I was really terrified. Another surgeon pushed the intestines aside and retrieved a kidney. Then another got the second kidney. The head nurse swiftly placed both kidneys in a temperature-controlled box.
Next, Zheng got the order to extract the man's eyes, but he was too sickened to do so. Another doctor swiftly carried out the procedure instead. The now motionless body was then placed in a black plastic bag and carried away by soldiers. The organs were taken to the General Hospital of the Shenyang military region, where Zheng did his residency. A team waiting there then used the organs in transplant operations. By then, the procedure was long over. But for Zheng, the haunting image of those desperate, fearful, and pained eyes plagued him.
At dinner the previous evening, before the operation, an officer introduced the boy, who was less than 18 years old. His parents paid 10,000 yuan to get him an army spot. Through the window, I looked at the gun-wielding soldiers guarding this heinous act. No military in the world would plunder and sell its own soldiers' organs. My ambition as a military doctor was to save lives and serve my nation. But I couldn't fathom the depth of my country's atrocities.
Soon after the horrific event, Zheng left the hospital. But little did he know what happened in that van in 1994 would soon become an industrialized killing apparatus in China, set up to extract organs from prisoners of conscience and sell them on demand. Within 2 decades, the mass-scale, state-sanctioned forced organ harvesting ballooned into a billion-dollar industry. In the 2020 China Tribunal judgment, it said Falun Gong practitioners have been one and probably the main source of organ supply.
They don't consent. They don't even know what's happening. We called it a cold genocide in the sense that it's not happening all at once. It's happening slowly over time.
David Mattis is an international human rights lawyer and one of the world's leading researchers of forced organ harvesting. In 2002, while accompanying a military official for a medical checkup, Zheng first learned that Falun Gong adherents were used as an organ source. Doctors at the hospital where Zheng once interned told the official that he needed a new kidney to survive.
Shenyang Army General Hospital will pick a top-quality one for you, a fresh one, from Falun Gong practitioners. I told him, don't do it. Isn't that committing murder?
对我点了点头。
He nodded to me
不会
and
去
said,
混这个
I am
血。
not going to get this kidney transplant.
但是涂元年特别严
But
厉
he
对我
suddenly
说
said to me in a particularly
你
stern
赶快走，
manner,
走得越远
you
越
should
好。
leave as soon as possible, and the farther the
我
better.
当时一下就意识到，如果这件事传出去，我
I
可能
realized
都
I
会
might
被
be
灭口。
silenced if the story got out.
Another acquaintance, an aide to officials at the core of China's most elite leadership body, told Zheng something even more shocking.
他来看我，
During his visit, I said the persecution of Falun Gong in northeastern China was quite severe.
他当时
He seemed attentive but stayed silent.
走了一段，他突然对
But
我
before
说
we parted, he suddenly told me that Falun Gong practitioners, including minors, were held beneath the Hubei Provincial Public Security Bureau's backyard in Wuhan
还有
City.
未成年的孩子。他说我去
He
过那
said
个
he
地
had
方，
been there.
回头
Then
他
he
上车
left
就走了。
abruptly.
我那一瞬间，
At that moment, I said to myself,
我说
I
不行，
must go
我一定要
abroad.
出国。
Zheng adds that to boost transplant profits, the military set up green passages at airports to aid the swift transportation of organs across the nation. He also says infectious disease units inside military hospitals had all become dens for forced organ harvesting. To avoid citizens from becoming complicit, U.S. lawmakers have taken steps to prevent Americans from engaging in transplant tourism to China. But Mattis says the killing of prisoners of conscience for their organs is still ongoing.
They're continuing to advertise transplant tourism. So, and the institutions are still functioning. I mean, they haven't closed down these transplant hospitals.
Zheng obtained refugee status while in Thailand and moved to Canada in 2007. Zheng says he's been looking for the right media outlet to share his story. Because should he make the wrong choice, not only would he get himself into trouble, the issue wouldn't get the spotlight it needs. He acknowledges the concern of potential retaliation from Beijing, but says the issue is bigger than himself. He says that he has carefully preserved his records, and that when the Chinese Communist Party falls and faces judgment, he will take the witness stand, adding that justice will prevail.